I get itchy staring at a kitchen layout, dreaming about a home bar that never runs out of ice, but the idea of splurging on a commercial-grade machine feels risky. You've probably seen a few Undercounter units on YouTube and wonder if they are just a fancy way to hide a pricey countertop fridge. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Before you click Add to Cart, let's walk through what it actually means to bring a Scotsman CU0920MA into your daily routine, and why that matters more than the headline numbers. First off, an Undercounter ice machine isn't just a smaller version of a countertop model. It's built to sit behind a wall or under a bar, pulling water straight from a line and dumping ice into a bin that's hidden from view. That changes the whole game for space-constrained setups. If you have a tight kitchen island or a bar that's already packed with bottles and mixers, the 20-inch width of the CU0920MA can tuck neatly into a standard cabinet space, leaving the countertop free for prep work. But that convenience comes with a hidden requirement. You need a permanent cold water supply and a drain that can handle continuous flow. For a homeowner who can't or won't run a new water line, that's a deal breaker. The Scotsman brand is synonymous with durability in the hospitality world, and this model leans on that reputation. It can crank out up to 100 pounds of ice a day, which translates to roughly 34 pounds per hour on average. In practice, that means if you're running a small coffee shop that serves a steady stream of iced lattes, you'll never see the bin run dry during the lunch rush. The storage bin holds 56 pounds, so after a busy morning you still have enough ice to keep a midday crowd happy without having to wait for a new batch to finish. For a home entertainer who throws a weekend brunch for a dozen friends, that capacity is more than sufficient to keep a pitcher of sangria chilled for hours. Now, let's talk about what that production actually feels like in the kitchen. The machine cycles continuously, pulling water, freezing it, and dropping the cubes into the bin. You'll hear a low rumble that's louder than a typical dishwasher, but quieter than a full-size ice maker in a bar. Most users say the noise settles into the background after the first half hour, but if your countertop is right next to an open-plan living room, you'll notice it. It's not a showstopper, just something to consider if you value a whisper-quiet environment. One of the practical strengths of the CU0920MA is how it handles different ice shapes. It produces clear, cube-shaped ice that's ideal for cocktails because it melts slower than cheap bagged ice. That slower melt rate isn't just about aesthetics. It keeps drinks from getting watered down too quickly, which is a subtle but appreciated upgrade for anyone who cares about flavor balance. In a home setting, it means your margaritas stay crisp longer, and in a cafe, your iced teas stay refreshing without turning into a watery mess halfway through the day. On the flip side, the machine does demand regular maintenance. The waterline filter needs swapping every few months, and the ice bin has a removable tray that should be cleaned to prevent any mineral buildup. If you're used to buying bagged ice and never think about it again, that extra chore could feel like a nuisance. Also, because it's an Undercounter unit, you'll need to allocate a bit of floor space for the vent grill on the back. The unit needs at least a couple of inches of clearance for airflow, otherwise it can overheat and shut down, something you'll discover only after a few weeks if you cram it into a tight spot. Who should consider this machine? If you run a small office with a break room that sees a constant flow of coffee and water, the 100-pound daily output can keep a pitcher of iced coffee ready all day without the hassle of refilling ice bags. If you own a food truck that sells frozen drinks, the compact footprint and steady ice supply can be a real competitive edge, no more running out of ice halfway through a lunch rush. For serious home hosts who have a dedicated bar area, the ability to produce ice on demand means you can keep a cooler stocked for a whole party without a freezer full of bags. Who should skip it? If you're a renter who can't commit to a permanent water line, this isn't the right fit. If your ice needs are occasional, think of family that only makes a few drinks on holidays. The upfront cost and installation effort outweigh the convenience. And if your volume demands exceed 150 pounds a day, you'll start to feel the strain. The machine will still run, but you'll be flirting with its upper limit, and might end up waiting for the bin to empty more often than you'd like. The value proposition of the CU0920MA isn't just the £100 production figure, it's